Imagine a country smaller than Connecticut, but wealthier than nearly the entire world. There is no pure limit to the money they spend. They are acquiring or partnering with major companies in different countries, almost every day. But we hardly know them at all. Welcome to Qatar, a land where luxury meets tradition, and every corner tells a story. From Doha's breathtaking skyline to the surprising sources of its staggering wealth. We are diving deep into what makes this tiny nation a global powerhouse. Stay with me, because you're about to uncover the secrets behind Qatar's riches and the realities of life in the world's wealthiest nation. So let's go on a hot desert tour. Qatar is a small country on the Arabian Peninsula that looks out over the Persian Gulf. It has a population of 3 million people, and interestingly, only 350,000 of them are Qataris. The other millions are migrant workers. The country is ruled by a constitutional absolute monarchy, and the current emir is Tamim ibn Hamad Al Thani. Al Thani, who finished all his schooling in England, has led the Qatar royal family since 2013. The country's laws are based on Sharia, but this is only in appearance. Sharia rules are written into law, but they are not followed in practice. The increasing tourism and the influx of foreigners have also been a factor in the disregard of Sharia rules. For example, if you think alcohol is forbidden, you are mistaken. You can drink as much as you want in hotels and at home. This is why hotels have become the center of entertainment life. Qataris, high-end expats, and tourists socialize at hotels with luxury clubs and restaurants. It is pretty much impossible to meet a local Qatari in social settings in the country. As we mentioned, the population of locals is very small, and they are all ultra-rich and live in their own worlds. The most important thing to know about Qatari Arabs is that they are very different from other people in the Middle East. Every Qatari is fluent in English or French, and they often speak English even when they don't know the other person. They were educated in British and American schools outside of Qatar. So even though they are Arabs, and similar to other societies in the Middle East, they are also half European and more open to new ideas. Qatari residents do not pay for electricity, water, natural gas, or telephone bills. There are almost no taxes on any area except businesses such as hotels. And what is the source of this wealth? Is it just oil? No, it is not. Qatar has the third largest amount of natural gas in the world. It has 15% of the world's natural gas. Experts say Qatar can keep producing natural gas for 300 years. According to 2021 data, the energy sector made up 85% of Qatar's exports, and these exports are worth more than $80 billion. Among the major exporters of natural gas are India, America, China, Japan, the United Arab Emirates, and South Korea. But the key point here is that Qatar is one of the Arab countries that makes the best use of the money it earns. They have invested heavily in big companies around the world and are among the most important partners of companies like Volkswagen, Sainsbury, and Siemens. In thousands of large companies around the world, you can see even a small Qatari partnership. In short, we can define Qatar as a company country. Yes, the whole world wants a piece of Qatar's financial power, but European nations seem to be taking their share of the pie much more confidently. Until 1971, Qatar was part of England. The British still have strong influence here. If you don't speak English, it will be hard for you to live in Qatar. The Qatari royal family was also raised in the British school system. Almost all of the family members were educated in countries like England. 88% of the country population is made up migrant workers from other countries. But if you go to Qatar, you will find that most of the company executives are Americans or Europeans. The lower-level workers in the country are mostly from other Muslim countries such as Nepal, Philippines, Pakistan, Morocco, or Egypt. Despite Qatar's incredible wealth, Amnesty International's investigations reveal that the situation of workers in the country is akin to slavery. These workers face severe violations of their rights due to excessive workloads, starvation, lack of rest, and degrading treatment. The Amnesty International organization emphasizes that domestic workers often work up to 18 hours a day, and many of them have never taken a day off. In addition, studies by international organizations show that 70% of the country's workers, which is a significant portion of the workforce, are working in conditions similar to slavery. Although labor standards have been updated in recent years due to pressure from Europe, the situation has not improved much. Also, since 80% of the country's population is made up of migrant workers, there are 329 men for every 100 women. There is a huge excess of men. Women have had the right to vote and be elected in the country since 1995. Women can drive in the city. There is no dress code for foreign and immigrant women and tourists other than Qatari citizens. They are very polite to women, don't worry. Agricultural production in Qatar is almost zero. Everything to eat and drink comes from outside the country. Despite this, the country has a selection of world cuisines. Qatar's population is very diverse, and this has had a big impact on the country's food culture. You can find all kinds of dishes, from Italian, Turkish, Mediterranean, Chinese, and other cuisines, especially Middle Eastern flavors, all over the country. To try local flavors, restaurants that offer dishes from countries like Palestine, Morocco, and Iran are found all over Qatar. According to 2024 data, Qatar has the highest per capita national income in the world with $72,000. This means that when you go there, you can see luxury and splendor everywhere you look. If you have an average job, you can buy cars that you would never dream of driving in your home country. Qatar is also one of the 5 safest countries in the world. It is considered one of the safest places, along with countries such as Singapore, Iceland, and Belgium. The reason Qatar is so safe is that the locals are very rich and low-level migrant workers are kept away from social life. They are prevented from getting involved in crimes and quickly sent out of the country in case of the slightest mistake. To show how safe the country is, here's an example. If you leave your bag or phone in the park, it will stay there until you remember and go get it. Or someone else does and brings it back to you. Also, you can open the doors to houses from the outside. You can leave your Lux car running in the parking lots of shopping malls and come back to find it right where you left it. It's not that interesting. Of course, it is human nature, and it would be impossible to trust someone 100% completely. The country attaches great importance to European and American tourists, so it has built its tourism network around them. Although the country is based on Sharia law, female tourists or those who settle there do not have to cover their heads. In fact, there are many beaches in and around Doha where it is possible to swim from February to October. You can see thousands of people in bikinis and swimsuits enjoying the sea on the beaches. Unlike other Middle Eastern countries, no one will bother anyone. You can find a lot of entertainment throughout the year in Qatar. Nightlife and sea tourism are the main attractions. Sport is also a very important part of life. Qatar hosted the 2022 World Cup and spent $220 billion on World Cup preparations. This includes $10 billion to build 7 new stadiums and a $36 billion metro line. The Qatari government has spent nearly $1 billion on security alone. Tennis is also a popular sport in Qatar. Every year, 5 different international tournaments are organized. However, even though there are many events, many Qataris live in Europe and the United States for a big part of their lives. Qatar has the highest rainfall in the Arabian Peninsula. Because of this, the country is much greener than its neighbors. When you go, you will not only see deserts. There are many activities, such as sports activities with cars and camel rides in the deserts. In short, the country has managed to make good use of its assets and turned each of them into an activity. Al Jazeera was first established in 1996 with the financial support of the Emir of Qatar to the tune of $137 million. Al Jazeera is claimed to be the only politically independent media channel in the Middle East. The channel is still headquartered in the capital Doha. Surely you have heard of Qatar Airways. The country's airline has won the Best Airline in the World award for 3 years in a row. It is the only airline in the world that offers flights and flies passengers to other countries on all 7 continents. When you come to Qatar with Qatar Airways, you will experience luxury and comfort like nowhere else. In the olden days, before Qatar discovered its natural gas and oil reserves, the money used to come from pearls. The country was known for good pearls that could be found here, and they made money through diving for pearls for a long time. To pay homage to that part of their history, Qatar has made an artificial island on top of one of the most famous pearl diving spots in the past. The string of islands is collectively known as the Pearl, and it is a beautiful island to visit. During the Gulf War, Qatar was the site of the command center that coordinated the American invasion of Iraq. Qatar currently hosts America's largest military base in the Middle East, Al Udeid Air Base, which is home to 10,000 American troops. Also, the country has defense treaties with America, Britain, Turkey, and France. On the other hand, Qatar is one of the few countries not affected by the popular uprisings known as the Arab Spring. Yes, friends, Qatar is a more egalitarian and more civilized country than other Arab countries. It is certain that Qatar will become a much wealthier and more humanitarian country that meets European standards in the next decade. Qatar is a fascinating place with a mix of old traditions and new ambitions. This is a country that continues to thrive, balancing its rich history with a global future. Whether it is the luxury of Doha's skyline or the untold stories of its workforce, Qatar is a land of contrasts and surprises. Thank you for joining me on this journey to the heart of the Arabian Peninsula. If you enjoyed this exploration and you like this kind of content, check out my Greenland video. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.